He was born into a prominent Irish Catholic family in Boston, the second oldest of 9 siblings. He was an average student who was a poor speller and had terrible handwriting, but read 1,200 words per minute and excelled in English and history. He was fond of racing, sailing, and craved excitement in his life. He was John Fitzgerald Kennedy, the 35th President of the United States, who has impacted our country profoundly and has been dubbed an American political hero and a model for his presidential successors. John, called Jack Kennedy, always had an ambitious and go-getter kind of mentality towards all aspects of his life. He deserves tribute because he always chased what he desired, even though the odds may have been stacked against him. Whether he wanted to join a sports team or a club, or be elected to political office, Kennedy never let the fear of defeat or any other obstacle get in his way. At Harvard University, he sought to be accepted by one of the most prestigious clubs that the school had to offer, but he was rejected many times. James Rogermay, a former Harvard classmate, explained in an interview that no one wanted to accept Jack Kennedy. The problem was that Jack Kennedy's father and grandfather were old Boston Irish, and there was a prejudice against him for that. Jack, unfazed by the prejudice shown towards him, devised a new plan where he and his 2 roommates would rush all the clubs as a group, in hopes of being accepted to at least one. They were turned down by all but one club, the Spee Club, which would come to be known as one of the first clubs to accept both Catholic and Jewish members. Almost 25 years later, this aspect of Jack Kennedy was present as he announced himself as a candidate for the presidency. TV journalist Tom Brokaw proclaimed, "It seemed clear that you didn't have to wait until you were white-haired and bent over to achieve something in life. You could be as young as he was and still be elected President of the United States." Tom Brokaw's testimony encompassed the go-getting mentality of John F. Kennedy, which led him to success throughout his lifetime. Although John Kennedy's ambitious nature may have helped him succeed, his leadership quality helped him save lives. He displayed his leadership in 1940 at age 23 when he set an example as one of the first to register for the peacetime draft in U.S. history. He then went on to join the Navy and was trained to be an officer on a PT boat, which was the new craft in the Navy known as the Fighter Jets of the Sea. In 1943, Jack received orders to join the forces on the front line at Guadalcanal. He became commander of one of the boats there, named PT-109. One fateful morning, August 2nd, Jack's boat was rammed by a Japanese destroyer ship, slicing the boat in 2. Immediately after the boat was rammed, Kennedy took control of his crew, keeping them together as a unit, even towing one injured man for miles as they swam to the shore of a small island. They were finally rescued a week later, and Kennedy was awarded the Navy and Marines Corps Medal for extremely heroic conduct. Jack's leadership attributed to the fact that only 2 out of the 13 crew members died aboard the burning and sinking PT boat, as one of the members of his crew exclaimed in an interview. "He just did a superlative job of holding the crew together." It's an amazing testament to John F. Kennedy's great leadership qualities that he was able to unite his crew members through the deafening chaos and confusion of the war, and was able to guide the entire country during his term as President of the United States. The third and probably most outstanding quality of John F. Kennedy's personality was his courageousness. From early on in his life, he admired and tried to emulate individuals whose beliefs weren't swayed by popular opinions, but by their own conscience. One instance of this was when Adolf Hitler and the Nazis rose to power in Germany, and the U.S. was debating on whether to appease or oppose the Nazis. At Harvard, Jack voiced his beliefs on the matter in opposition of his own father, a U.S. ambassador, who supported the appeasement of Hitler. Moreover, Kennedy portrayed his courage during his presidency when the Soviet Union placed bombs in Cuba that could hit the U.S., known as the Cuban Missile Crisis. Although this event could have ignited a nuclear world war, which would have put both the lives of his family and country in jeopardy, Jack remained calm, and he and his advisors decided on the best course of action. With orders from Kennedy, the Navy blockaded Cuba, and the president negotiated a situation with Nikita Khrushchev, who was the leader of the Soviets at the time, and they came to a peaceful agreement. Finally, John F. Kennedy showed courage while riding through Dallas on November 22, 1963, the day of his assassination. He rode with his wife without the suggested bulletproof glass in an open convertible so the people could observe their president. He was not a president for the people, but one of the people. The assassination of this beloved president has induced controversy and questions, but one of the questions lies above JFK most of all. David Einsbach, a professor of media and politics at Columbia University, explains, "We are fascinated by John F. Kennedy, and always will be, because he has a great what if. What if he hadn't been killed? Would the U.S. have gone into Vietnam? Would the civil rights struggle have had a major ally in the White House throughout the 1960s? That is the major question about John F. Kennedy."